They came like gods. Shimmering ships the size of skyscrapers tore through the clouds, hovering silently above every major city. No warning, no contact, just presence. Their voices echoed in every human language, everywhere. You are now under observation. Your compliance is expected. Resistance is futile. Your species will be cataloged and assessed. The world paused. Some screamed, some prayed, some took selfies, but most waited. In Times Square, a crack split the sky and a being appeared. 10 feet tall, silver blue skin. Its eyes glowed with contempt. A woman live-streaming on her phone whispered, "Oh my God, it's real." The alien spoke. "You call yourselves humans. Primitive, emotional, weak. You expanded without purpose. You wage wars without reason. You poison your own planet. We, the Vexery, will now take stewardship of your world." A silence fell over Earth. Then laughter. From one corner of the square, a short man in a greasy hoodie leaned against a hot dog cart, chuckling. The alien turned. "Do you mock us?" The man grinned. "You landed in New York, pal. That was your first mistake." The alien stepped forward. The man didn't flinch. "You think because you have shiny tech and big words, you're better? You haven't met humans on a bad day." From his coat, the man pulled a slingshot. An old-school, rubber-band slingshot. The Vexery sneered. The stone launched fast. The alien caught it mid-air without blinking. "You are amusing." "Not yet," the man replied. "But wait till lunch hour." Suddenly, alarms rang across the alien fleet. Something was wrong. Earth wasn't surrendering. It was watching, waiting, planning. This wasn't going to be a peaceful occupation. This was going to be war. Across the globe, their ships spread like shadows. They weren't here to destroy. Not yet. They wanted to study, observe, catalog, dissect. The Vexery believed Earth was a living museum, ugly but curious, like a swamp with teeth. They sent probes, small, smooth, silver spheres, to scan neighborhoods. They floated like drones, glowing blue, humming softly. Humans called them space gnats. In Chicago, one landed in a child's sandbox. A toddler slapped it with a plastic shovel. The probe beeped, confused. In Lagos, a pigeon pooped on one. It self-destructed out of shame. In Tokyo, a teenager hacked into one with a smartwatch and reprogrammed it to beatbox. The Vexery grew annoyed. These humans weren't scared. In fact, they were memeing the invasion. #AlienFail trended worldwide. But not everyone was laughing. In a military base buried under Colorado, Colonel Jenna Locke watched a wall of screens. Satellite footage, street cams, infrared. "They're not here to make friends," she said. "No, ma'am," her lieutenant nodded. "But they don't expect a fight, either." Jenna grinned. "Let's surprise them." Meanwhile, in a quiet barn in Kansas, 3 farmers stood over a probe they'd caught in a fishing net. "Reckon we can eat it?" one asked. "Reckon we can sell it," the other replied. The third just lit a cigar. On the Vexery mothership, High Lord Tevrak watched human responses. He was puzzled. Why do they not fear us? His advisor answered, "They laugh, my lord, even when they bleed. It's unsettling." Tevrak narrowed his eyes. "Begin Phase 2. Phase 2 began with silence. All the Vexery ships shut down their lights. They hovered, unmoving, watching, like eyes without eyelids. Then came the harvesters. Massive machines dropped from the sky, like spider-legged factories. They scanned the soil, the water, the air. In the Amazon, they started burning trees to extract minerals. In the Arctic, they drilled deep into ice caps. In Nairobi, a school vanished beneath a pulse beam. Clean, precise, no damage to the nearby flowers. Just gone. Still no full war. Not yet. Just pressure. Just warning. Humans noticed, and they didn't take it lightly. Riots broke out in Paris. Gunmen opened fire in Arizona. Hackers in Seoul disabled 5 alien probes. People had enough, but Earth's governments weren't united. Some leaders wanted to negotiate, others wanted to beg, and some just froze. But in Detroit, a woman named Ruby Knox took a different route. She called a meeting, not with generals, not with presidents, with engineers, mechanics, old war veterans, former criminals, outlaws, coders, people who made things work when no one else could. She pointed at a diagram of an alien probe. "This is our starting point," she said. "We break it open, learn it, turn it against them." One old man, scarred from the Gulf War, chuckled. "We gonna reverse engineer alien tech." She nodded, "And then shove it where their suns don't shine." Back in orbit, the Vexery watched Earth's surface shift. Tevrak frowned. "These creatures are organizing." His advisor bowed. "Should we begin Phase 3? Tevrak's voice turned cold. "No, not yet. Let them struggle. Let them believe they have hope." Ruby's hideout wasn't much. An abandoned auto plant. Broken windows. Rusted machines. Rats with attitude. But inside, magic was happening. A team of 27 humans from 11 different countries stood around a probe cut wide open on a steel table. It sparked. It smoked. It hummed like it was scared. They'd cracked the shell. Inside was beauty. Cold, elegant circuits. Light that flowed like water. Metal that bent and healed. "I've never seen tech like this," muttered a coder from Bangalore. Ruby pointed. "Neither have they seen rage like ours." They had no weapons, no alien suits, no mechs, but they had tools. They built a jammer. Rough, ugly, duct tape everywhere. They tested it. A probe flying overhead jerked, flipped, and dropped like a stone. Cheers echoed through the plant. That same night, all across Earth, people shared the blueprint online. The signal spread in code buried in memes. Every kid with a soldering iron became a resistance fighter. The Vexery noticed. Tevrak stood in the ship's throne room, watching hundreds of red dots blinking on the map. "What are they doing?" His advisor squinted. They're using scrap, trash, debris. "But it's working," Tevrak hissed. "Primitive minds. This is beneath us." And then the first alien scout patrol was ambushed in Florida. 5 humans, homemade jammers, shotguns, motorcycle helmets. They didn't just kill the aliens. They recorded it, posted it, made it go viral. The video ended with a handwritten sign held to the camera. "Earth bites back." Tevrak stared at the screen. His voice was slow, cold. "Prepare Phase 3. Phase 3 began with fire. Massive beams from the motherships ignited the edges of the oceans. They boiled waves, melted coral, turned whales into steam. Not war, just punishment. Messages were sent. Submit, or drown in your own blood. Skies turned orange over Manila. Ash fell over Berlin. In Johannesburg, clouds rained acid for 6 minutes straight. The world screamed, and yet didn't fold. In the ruins of Istanbul, an old woman pulled 2 orphans from rubble, wiped dust from their eyes, and said, "They think we're done. Let's prove them wrong." Ruby Knox saw the footage. All of it. Her hands trembled. Her teeth clenched. She didn't cry. She recorded a message. "They've burned our oceans. We'll burn their pride." She launched Operation Grit. Underground networks lit up. Farmers in Nebraska started assembling drone bombs with fertilizer. Hackers in Nigeria broke into Vexery supply signals. In a secret lab in Seoul, 3 teenagers found a way to hijack a Vexery power core and made it explode like a mini nuke. One was killed. The other 2 named the explosion after him. Project Jason. The next morning, a mothership over Argentina exploded. Live. It didn't fall, it vanished. The blast left a hole in the sky. Humans stared. Vexery panicked. On their command ship, alarm screamed. Tevrak roared. Who did this? A drone replayed human chatter, translated. You don't own this planet. You just parked here. Tevrak slammed a fist into the control table. We tried mercy. We gave them a chance. Now, he turned to the war commander. Unleash the harvest beasts. They dropped at midnight. 15 black pods, each the size of a house. They didn't land. They dug straight into the ground, sinking like claws. Then came the sound. Low, deep, like something breathing under the soil. Human cities paused. And then, the harvest beasts rose. 12 feet tall, metallic skin over muscle. No eyes, no mouths, just teeth, spiraling across heads like drills. They tore through buildings like cardboard. One grabbed a tank in Morocco and crushed it like a soda can. Another walked through a mall in Jakarta. Came out blood-soaked. Not a single shot could stop it. But the worst part? They didn't just kill. They collected. Every corpse they touched, they kept. In glowing sacks, strapped to their backs. Tevrak watched it unfold. This is what they feared, he said calmly. Let them break. But humans don't break that easy. In Philadelphia, a gang of ex-prisoners hijacked a city bus, loaded it with explosives, and drove it straight into a beast's chest. Both were vaporized. A mural of them appeared 3 hours later. Spray-painted, Philly don't flinch. In Iceland, scientists set a trap using sound and freezing gas. Froze a beast solid in a cave. Named it Frosty the Killer. And in Brazil, a 12-year-old girl recorded herself throwing a flare at one, leading it into a pit dug by villagers. They buried it alive. She smiled at the camera. We're not afraid of monsters. We've seen worse on the news. Ruby saw all this, and her voice cracked just once. God help them. We're learning. The beast kept coming. So did the fire. So did the blood. And so did the ideas. Ruby Knox and her ragtag crew had been working day and night. No sleep, no mercy, surrounded by broken machines and alien metal. They had one goal: build something that makes them bleed. In an underground bunker in Nevada, they finally did it. It wasn't pretty. It hissed. It leaked. It sounded like it wanted to scream. But it worked. Weapon Zero, a fusion of alien tech, human stubbornness, and pure desperation. It looked like a giant rifle strapped to a motorcycle engine, with parts stolen from a dentist's office. They powered it up. The lights in the whole city flickered. Everyone in the bunker went quiet. Then Ruby said the words. Let's test it. They found a harvest beast, roaming alone in the Arizona desert. The operator pulled the trigger. One beam. Blue. Silent. Clean. The beast froze, twitching, then crumbled like ash in a storm. The team gasped. No explosion. No noise. Just erasure. Ruby laughed loud. Wild. We're gonna build 10 more. Meanwhile, back in orbit, Tevrak's hands trembled. He watched the footage, replayed it 5 times. Impossible, he whispered. Nothing bypasses Vexery shields. His advisor stared blankly. They figured us out. Tevrak growled. They're too chaotic, too stubborn. They should have broken. Why haven't they broken? No one answered. Because humans weren't breaking. They were building. The world had been divided for centuries. Borders, flags, history soaked in war. But now, all that was dust. Because nothing unites humanity faster than a common enemy and a bigger ego. A global signal went out. Weapon Zero is real. We will share it. No patents, no price, no politics. And suddenly, the world moved as one. Factories in China started printing power cores based on the schematics. Engineers in Germany modified the coils to reduce overheating. Hackers in Mexico bypassed the alien fail-safes embedded in the tech. And in the US, Ruby's team coordinated distribution from an abandoned pizza chain warehouse. Someone spray-painted a new name across the wall. Earth United Command. Even old enemies stood side by side. Indian and Pakistani scientists argued, but worked together. Ukrainian and Russian fighters guarded shipment routes together. American and Iranian engineers fist-bumped over a perfectly tuned power cell. The Vexery couldn't understand it. Tevrak stood frozen in front of the Earth activity feed. His command board blinked red. Again and again. "They're sinking," his advisor said, voice shaking. "They're adapting." "Ridiculous," Tevrak spat. "They are not a hive mind." "No," the advisor whispered. "They're worse. They're individuals cooperating." That same day, 20 Weapon Zero units were deployed across key zones. The results? Devastation. 6 harvest beasts obliterated in under an hour. 3 Vexery extraction units vaporized mid-air. And the people didn't just cheer. They chanted, "This is our planet. We're not tenants. We're the landlords. You parked on the wrong rock." Tevrak's jaw locked. "Then let's remind them what fear tastes like." He pressed a hidden button. The screen turned black. Words appeared. Phase 4, atmospheric collapse. They didn't drop bombs. They didn't shoot lasers. They did something worse. They poisoned the sky. The Vexery launched a silent signal. Invisible, radiating from orbit. It triggered microscopic machines. Nanodust hidden in every probe, every scan, every harvested zone. The atmosphere began to change. Oxygen levels dipped. Nitrogen balance cracked. Within hours, people started coughing. Not just sick, suffocating. Birds fell mid-flight. Fires wouldn't light in certain cities. Hospitals overflowed. Plants wilted. Hope, for the first time, wavered. Ruby fell to one knee in her bunker, her hands shaking. Her mask barely filtered it. "They're killing the planet, not just us." An old engineer beside her gasped. "They'll leave once it's unlivable." Ruby looked up. "No, they'll stay, just without us." But Earth wasn't done. In space, 12 nations have been secretly building a final weapon. Project Black Sky, a human-made ship, ugly, bristling with scavenged alien weapons, made for one purpose: to crash straight into the Vexery mothership with a payload of Earth's last clean hydrogen cores. It had no return path. It was a coffin. Volunteers lined up. Too many. In the end, they picked 6. One was blind. One had cancer. One didn't even speak the same language as the others. But all of them smiled, because if Earth was dying, it was going to bite back one last time. As the ship launched, Ruby whispered into the global feed, "If this is our last breath, make it count. You invaded the wrong world." The sky was fading, but something was rising. Something with fire in its engines and vengeance in its bones. Project Black Sky screamed through the upper atmosphere. No stealth, no delay, no negotiation. The Vexery saw it coming. Tevrak stared at the blip on his console, lips curled. A suicide run? He chuckled. Destroyed. Hundreds of beams fired from the mothership. They missed. All of them. Because humanity knew how to fly ugly. The ship danced, off-axis, unpredictable, like it was drunk on fury. Inside, the 6 volunteers sang. No anthem, no military tune, just a chaotic mess of shouting, laughter, and a beat from a portable speaker thumping in the background. One of them recorded a final message. "If we die, we win. If we live, we still win. Either way, Earth says hi." The ship pierced the outer shields. Tevrak stood, eyes wide. Impossible. They're tech. But it wasn't about tech. It was about nerve. The ship hit the core of the Vexery flagship. A flash. Silent. Blinding. Then darkness. And then blue skies. Earth's atmosphere stabilized. The nanodust disintegrated. The beast shut down. All at once. Across the planet, humans looked up, expecting fire. Instead, the stars returned. In silence, the remaining Vexery ships turned. They left, not limping, not defeated in battle, but terrified, because for the first time in their long empire, they'd met something they couldn't measure, couldn't predict, couldn't own: humanity. After the ashes, the volunteers, gone, immortalized. Weapon Zero, now standard tech, Ruby Knox, disappeared into the wind. But legends say she walks in the ruins, still building, still planning, because Earth remembers, and now the galaxy knows. You don't invade Earth and get away clean. You don't mock humans and leave with pride. You don't step on ants when the ants have nukes. The stars were quiet again, but Earth was watching, waiting, because next time we invade,